Well, here at 41, we have started an initiative called Kind KC, where we're working to help put a stop to violence, discrimination, and bullying throughout the metro. And as part of that effort, we're highlighting organizations around Kansas City that are doing just incredible work. And today, Nyla Foster with Kansas City Anti-Violence Project is here. And let's talk a little bit, first of all, about what the project is, what the project does.
Okay. The Kansas City Anti-Violence Project is a nonprofit agency that advocates for members of the LGBT community who are affected by all kinds of violence, sexual assault, domestic violence, hate violence, neglect, any type of trauma. We have a team of advocates, and that is our #1 goal, to make sure that our community is safe and secure.
And in particular, it's been called an epidemic of violence towards transgender women.
Specifically, transgender women of color have been under attack.
Wow.
In 2015, 21 transgender women were murdered. 19 of them were people of color. In 2016, 27 transgender people were murdered. And now in 2017, we have 7 transgender women who have all been murdered, and they're all of color. In Louisiana, we have 2 women who were murdered within 48 hours. And that's the conversation that I want to really center, is the violence that is inflicted upon transgender women of color.
What can a person do when you look at those numbers? I know that your heart is in this and your soul is in this, but it must sometimes be kind of overwhelming when you look at numbers like that. What do you do about that? What do we do about that?
Well, me personally, as a Black transgender woman and as an advocate, this does affect me on a very personal level. What I do is I try to provide support to any transgendered man, woman, whether you are color or not of color. Just reach out and let them know that they have my support. Let them know, there are safe spaces, educating them on what's going on. Because I feel like awareness is very important. If we're aware of what's going on, we'll be more cautious, we'll be more mindful of those type of situations.
So those are physical, real attacks, but there are also attacks that come toward the community from just letters, pieces of paper, like what happens with Title IX. Talk a little bit about what Title IX is and how it's changing potentially in some places.
Well, in addition to physical violence that's inflicted on transgender people, there's also state-sanctioned violence, so legislative acts that are used to remove protections for transgender people. Specifically, Title IX was an initiative to protect transgender students from going to the bathroom with the gender as they identify. Right now, that protection is possibly under attack, and that is not right, and we have to do whatever we can to prevent that.
When you face that kind of challenge and the numbers that you quoted earlier, are you still optimistic about where society as a whole is moving in terms of violence and violence towards people in the communities that you advocate for?
Well, I had to remain optimistic doing this work. I can't get consumed in what the negative instances are around transgendered. So just to remain optimistic, I just know that I have my community. I'm not the only advocate.
Right.
We have a whole team and a whole community of advocates, and we're really doing the work to improve protections for us, and we're not going to back down.
Well, thank you so much for telling the story and being a part of this. We're going to have a link to Kansas City Anti-Violence Project so you can learn more information and become involved from Kind KC on kclive.tv later today. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.